everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here, and it's day 3 of Doctor Who Week on my channel, where I'm doing 5 videos, all top 5 lists that are Doctor Who related in celebration of Doctor Who's 50th anniversary, which will be this Saturday, November 23rd. It's going to be pretty much the special, the Day of the Doctor is going to be aired worldwide, and pretty much worldwide, everyone's going to see it at the same time. It's going to be great. It's also it's going to be shown in theaters, I believe on November 25th, which is also pretty great. Can't wait for that as well. So for day 3, my top 5 Doctor Who list today is top 5 pieces of technology in Doctor Who that I've enjoyed. Okay, so starting number 5, K9, the robot dog. This K9 was a robot dog that was built by a scientist who went to space because he couldn't bring his real dog with him, and then at the end of his of this scientist, I can't really remember the scientist's name, but eventually the 4th Doctor and his companion at the time, Leela, arrived on the space station where they met the Professor, and after they had their adventure, when the station was being shut down and the Professor was going back to Earth, he couldn't bring K9 with him, so he gave K9 to the Doctor. Eventually, though, K9 has actually been featured a lot in Doctor Who since then. After Leela opted to stay on Gallifrey, and K9 decided to stay with her, but the Doctor, when he got back on his TARDIS, revealed that he had a Mark II K9 with him, so he had a newer model. And then eventually that K9 went to go stay with Romana when she got trapped into E-space. Then the Doctor built another version of K9, the Mark III, which he gave to Sarah Jane Smith. And there was actually going to be a spin-off featuring K9 and Sarah Jane Smith back in the 80s, but it never got picked up. K9 would appear years later with Sarah Jane in School Reunion, and then eventually, though, K9 Mark III would have been destroyed, but at the end of the episode, the Doctor decided to replace him with K9 Mark IV, and that version got featured more prominently in the Sarah Jane adventures. So yeah, K9's a pretty cool robot dog. He has the mind of a supercomputer. He can basically speak English and stuff. I mean, the concept of a robot dog is something that I think every kid wants, because robots are awesome, dogs are awesome, so you put the two together and you've got like man's best cybernetic friend right there. K9 definitely a big featured character, also very cool robot, also a very awesome robot dog. Really enjoy him. Alright, number 4, my 4th favorite piece of technology is the Doctor's anti-gravity cycle. It was seen in The Bells of St. John, which was also Clara's first episode. The Doctor, in order to rescue Clara from being used by the great intelligence who was infecting all the Wi-Fi, in order to get to their home office, he had to pretty much scale the side of the building with a motorcycle he had, which could defy gravity and sort of like ride up the side of the building. And I thought that was pretty cool. I've always been a fan of like flying bikes or like hover cars or hoverboards, something like that. But in this case, it really wasn't a hovering, more or less just kind of like scaling the side of a building, and that's always something a special effect I always like seeing with like a motorcycle in a movie or TV shows, when you can actually ride that thing on like the side of a building or something. So that's something that always appealed to me, and I thought it was pretty cool that the Doctor had one. And also he even said himself he used it in the anti-gravity Olympics, and that I believe he said he placed 3rd in. So pretty impressive, Doctor. Alright, number 3. Okay, for my choice of technology for number 3, it's an item that was briefly used by the Doctor, but it's more commonly used by Captain Jack Harkness and River Song. I'm, of course, referring to the Vortex Manipulator. The Vortex Manipulator is pretty cool. It's basically a device that straps on your wrist like a watch, and it's used by primarily time agents to travel through time and space. Unfortunately, though, for Captain Jack's, after he was killed killed by the Daleks, then brought back, and when he tried to find the Doctor again, he tried going to 21st century Cardiff, but he messed up, and he wound up in the early 1900s, so he was stuck waiting for 100 years, and after that, the vortex manipulator was shot. Well, I don't mean like physically shot, but it was like really messed up, and Jack couldn't use teleport or go anywhere or time travel again. And when we met the 10th Doctor again, the 10th Doctor was able to fix it so that they could time travel from the year 1 billion to get back to Earth to find the Master. But then afterwards, the Doctor removed that ability from the vortex manipulator again. But although the Doctor, even though it is a form of time travel, it's not necessarily reliable, because the 10th Doctor, he told Jack, he pretty much compared the vortex manipulator to the TARDIS by saying, "I've got a sports car, you've got a space hopper." So, and the vortex manipulator did appear again, even when Captain Jack was gone. The vortex manipulator still appeared when it was used by River, by being the primary time device used by River Song. That's how she met the Doctor at the end of series 5, and also almost every other appearance after that. So yeah, vortex manipulator, it's pretty much, I like it because, you know, it's time travel that you just pretty much can strap on your wrist, and also if you've seen Torchwood, you know that it has other functions as well. So it's not just used for time travel or teleportation. There's also hologram messaging, also a scanner, communication device, a lot of stuff. Which is something that a lot of pieces of Doctor Who do. They serve more than just one primary function, which brings me to my next item. My number 2 choice is one of the most well-known pieces of technology on Doctor Who. I'm of course referring to the sonic screwdriver. It unlocks doors. It works as a screwdriver. It cracks codes. It can pretty much do anything as long as the lock isn't a deadlock and it's not made of wood. Yeah, pretty impressive device. It can do almost anything, but doesn't break a deadlock seal and doesn't work on wood. But still, it's pretty awesome. There have been many forms of the sonic screwdriver seen throughout Doctor Who. The one I'm holding right now is obviously the 11th Doctor sonic screwdriver. It's pretty awesome. Lights up. Very nice. The sonic screwdriver was definitely one of my favorite one of the things that I loved about Doctor Who immediately was when the 10th Doctor, whenever the Doctor was in a jam, he'd just whip out a sonic screwdriver and, you know, go into action and stuff. And although there was a period when the Doctor didn't have it, sometime during Peter Davison, the 5th Doctor's tenure, the writers decided to kind of get back to basics, and they thought the sonic screwdriver was too much of a get out of any kind of situation, so they decided to destroy it, and it wasn't used and it was never used again up until the Doctor Who TV movie, which was the first appearance of the 8th Doctor. But since then, it's also pretty much been in nearly every episode of the relaunched series. So it's really significant and definitely one of the main elements of Doctor Who. Alright, now it's time for my number 1 choice. My number 1 favorite piece of technology in Doctor Who is the TARDIS. Yeah, the TARDIS. Why not? Because, I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's a ship that can travel anywhere to any time period. It's really awesome. It can go anywhere. It can also take any form to blend in with its surroundings, so you're not, you know, so no one notices that you're there. Although, if you have the Doctor's TARDIS, then the chameleon circuits bust in. It will just look like a blue phone box. But hey, I'm not knocking it. Okay, it's still great. Hey, I'm not knocking the blue box. All right, I like the blue box form. It's cool. It's iconic, and also it does. People usually don't notice it because it does have perception filters on it. So yeah, and also the TARDIS is more than just a ship. It can also be a home because it really is, well, bigger on the inside. Thanks to Time Lord science with transcendental dimensions, it can pretty much have almost any room you want. I mean, it is huge inside. It can pretty much give you anything you want. And also the main console room, it can be updated to look like anything you want as well. It's just a really impressive machine. It can go, it's the Doctor's main source of travel. Oh, and also this was established at the beginning of the 5th series, when after the Doctor regenerated, was that apparently the TARDIS can make sonic screwdrivers. So there you go. That's another reason why the TARDIS is great. Yeah, but pretty much, yeah, the TARDIS is definitely the one. If you can only have one piece of technology that you've seen in Doctor Who, then I'd say go for the TARDIS, because it is really awesome. Okay, yeah, that's it for my top 5 Doctor Who favorite technologies. What are your favorite devices that you've seen on Doctor Who? You know, comment below. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more Doctor Who videos coming out in the next few days. Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.